How's it going, everyone? It is 4 p.m. on Friday, March 13th. That means it's time for the weather report here on KMNR 89.7 FM, broadcasting out of Rolla, Missouri. You thought it wouldn't be happening because it's St. Pat's, and there aren't shows are optional during Pat's, but joke's on you. I don't look at the calendar anymore. I don't even know when holidays are, and so I'm going to be here no matter what. This is, as always, the local news and politics show, covering everything going on here in Rolla, as well as in the state of Missouri and the world beyond. As always, the views expressed in this program are not those of KMNR, the University of Missouri System, or the University of Missouri Board of Curators. They are my views and the views of other cool people. So, we are continuing our series of interviews with local candidates in the lead up to the April 7th elections. Last week, we had a great discussion with Lister Florence, one of the candidates for Rolla Mayor. Make sure you tune in next week for an interview with his opponent, mayoral candidate Kevin Graven. But in the meantime, we've got a real treat. We're talking with Elizabeth Liz Sperry, who is running to represent the Rolla City Council in Ward 5. So, Liz, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Okay. My name is Elizabeth Sperry. A lot of people call me Liz. I've lived in Rolla since 2009. I have 3 fabulous kids and a fabulous husband. I have raised my kids in Rolla since from kindergarten up to graduation. So I've had a really great chance to kind of get to know everyone here. I've really fallen in love with this community. I basically started getting involved with the community just because I wasn't from here and I really wanted to get to know more people. I started getting involved with the PTOs in the elementary schools. I had an opportunity to be a part of the committee to bring the pre-K into the elementary schools. And that was a lot of fun to be a part of that campaign. We actually gave out signs at our shop at PC Tech, and we held the watch party there, which was a lot of fun. And that really got me motivated to get involved more. I've run for office a couple of times, actually. My first time running for office was running for Recorder of Deeds. And that was an adventure. It was really fun. What a great experience. What a way to learn. I enjoyed that a lot. I used to run the parent group at the Rolla Junior High. That was a lot of fun. I did that for 3 years, got to know a lot of people in the community. We had a few different events where we got to work with the local police department to have like cybersecurity nights and bring awareness to parents about some of the dangers that their kids may be facing through social media. I'm a part of the Rolla Optimist Club. I was club president. I was lieutenant governor, and I served as the district secretary treasurer. And I love getting involved in any form of leadership. One thing that I really like to tell people is you don't need a title to be a leader. You can jump into things and jump into committees and lead by example anytime.
I like that. This is actually you actually ran for council last year. You mounted a write-in campaign that came rather close, actually, to beating now Councilman David Shelby, who was the only one on the ballot. You spoke a little bit about what made you decide to now run for city council? Was there anything in particular that spurred you to run? Any issue?
I don't know if it was anything specific. Actually, last year was my second time running. I ran for city council once before, and it was a 3-way race against an incumbent, and it was Carolyn Boleyn who won that year. And again, that was in 2020. Campaigning kind of stopped that year. So things were a little crazy. I, kind of let things be because I didn't want to invade anyone's space. That year, overall, I just love being involved in the community. So running for city council just seems like the next step. I like to be involved. I like to be in the room where the decisions are made. I like to be a part of that. and just be a part of, just change and progress. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah. So let's talk about Ward 5, the ward you're running to represent. I could pull up the map, but folks hearing that, what is Ward 5? I mean, for one, geographically, where are we looking at in town?
So Ward 5 is very large, and it's a weird shape. Ward 5 goes down where I live, which is near Lions Club Park. It goes past Lions Club on 63 to a little bit past the Ozark Terrace Cemetery down there. It goes all the way up. It actually goes like into downtown a little bit. It goes over to Rolla Street, and that goes into downtown. The Wyman Elementary area. It actually goes 72 as well in Kings Highway, where Walgreens is, and past up to the interstate past there. It's a really weird shape. It's hard. It's a large area. When campaigning, when you're doing door knocking, you really have to break it down into little bits because it's such a large space.
Yeah, it really covers kind of every sort of section of town. You've got a chunk of the downtown core.
Yes.
You've got suburban areas. You've got the roads so far out it feels like you're not even in city limits anymore.
Yep. Yeah, borders Ward 6, Ward 1, and Ward 4 in such a weird shape. Yeah, it's almost like a little, like a C almost. I don't know how to explain the shape. Like a backward C.
So, oh, by the way, folks at home listening, if you have anything you'd like to say to Liz or any questions for our city council candidate, please text into 504-656-6735. That's 5046-KMNRDJ. Go ahead and text in. I don't have as many questions as I did for Lister, so could use a few more if you got any good ones. So, I know you said that there was not any specific issues that spurred you to run, but you're running uncontested, and so it's very likely that you will win this election. So if you're elected, what are there any key issues that you would most like to tackle in your time on city council?
I don't know if there's anything specific that I really feel needs to be introduced as of now. I'm definitely interested to learn more in some of the things that are being brought to the council currently. I know that there are some issues that have been brought up recently about different substances and whether or not they should be sold to certain ages or in certain places. And I really do respect the council's decision to kind of hold off until they got more education and understanding about those substances, how they're created and how they affect people and all of that. And I definitely can, after doing a little bit of research, I haven't done as much as I'm sure city council has currently. There's so many differences between each one that I am unsure that they would all be able to be lumped into a single ordinance.
Yeah, and this is for context because I've been doing interviews. I haven't been able to cover local news for months. This is talking about a ban the city is considering on 7.0 or 7.0H, which is a synthetic form of kratom, and then putting the initial ordinance was just a flat ban on kratom 7.0 as well as Delta 8 and Delta 9 THC products. And it looks like council now wants to go in the direction of banning the 7.0 and then having, I think, age 21 and up limits for those other products to be sold. And that's something that, some folks have been banging the drum about for a long time about these, drugs being sold in gas stations and wherever else.
Right.
And that's actually the council's meeting this Monday, and they're having the final reading on that, so very well could get pushed off again because council's been kicking a lot of ordinances further down the road recently for more work, but I think it's in a mostly final form. So that brings me now to some loftier questions kind of about your legislative philosophy? Because you touch on it a bit about not necessarily wanting to introduce things. So, as it stands, or at least the city council this current term has been much more in a advisory role, it seems like, where city departments like the parks or the police bring up ordinances that they've been wanting to do, and then the council gives their advice and consent to it, and approves it. Whereas in the past, we've also seen more declaratory councils where individual councilors have their own things they'd like to see implemented, and so they take it upon themselves to draft these ordinances or tell the city to draft them. Do you see yourself being more in the first camp, where you don't necessarily want to be in a position of pushing for specific new ordinances that the city isn't already angling for?
Honestly, I'm not sure I could put myself in either camp, truthfully. Currently, I don't have any plans to push forward any new legislation, but I don't think I would be able to say that in the future I wouldn't. If I'm approached about some things that are really important to citizens that make sense for the safety and betterment of our community, it's very possible that I would push for future legislation. I just don't currently have any plans. I haven't been approached by anybody about anything. Of course, I'm not on city council yet.
Gotcha.
So I wouldn't be able to, people don't communicate with me the same way I'm sure they will. Should I be elected,
right.
I'm sure that's when the email will start blowing up.
Yeah.
So
in those kinds of situations now where you're elected and you start getting a lot of feedback from the public, there's certainly going to be situations that arise where your constituents are advocating for you to do something that you yourself may not, in a vacuum, be on board with. So what do you do in those circumstances where your own personal morals or views are at odds with public opinion?
So this is something I've thought about a lot. I really feel like this kind of falls under the same view as, if the people have voted for a certain thing and that thing has passed, it's not anyone's place to say, you know what, we're going to take that away from you. You are the people, you have spoken, you have made a decision. So this is already passed, we're going to take it away. I feel like it would be the same thing. Even if I didn't agree with the people I'm representing in Ward 5, if the majority of the people that have reached out to me are saying this is what we really want, it's kind of your job as a public servant to represent them. That's the whole point of being a representative. Even if it doesn't necessarily fall under my point of view, which it's a tough one, because you want to be able to, you hope that those things would align. I would love to be able to have a conversation with people that maybe I disagree with, and maybe we can come up with something better. Just because I have an opinion and someone else has an opinion and they're both different doesn't mean that they both aren't able to find a way to align in some sort of synergy. I would love to believe that could happen. Of course, I am an idealist and I do hope always for the best outcome, but the best outcome doesn't always happen. But I would love to be able to talk to people that I disagree with, or to understand why they have the point of view that they have. Everyone has their views for a reason. My experiences aren't somebody else's. So someone else may have a reason for feeling the way they feel, and I would love to be able to meet with them and understand that, so I can understand why they are saying what they're saying. So,
yeah. And there's an element to that of, you can't survey your entire ward for everything. And so there is going to be something of a, not bias, but inclination to the people who are making noise.
yes.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease, as I've been told repeatedly, because I am a squeaky wheel.
Same. I hope to be someone that is approachable enough for people to feel comfortable sending an email to, and understanding that I will take what they have to say seriously, and I will listen. So I hope that I'm that kind of person that people feel comfortable enough to be able to reach out to.
Yeah. And from your background, it seems like you have a fairly public presence, and so
I do my best.
People know how to find you if they want to talk. let's dive into talking about some policy.
Okay.
Some of the big issues of our time. So, we'll start with talking about the center. Same question I've asked everyone on here, which is, what would your, I guess, ideal solution to the issue of the center, and specifically now the pool, be? And sort of as a voter, what would it take for you to support making changes, increasing sales tax or something to make changes to the pool?
Yeah. I know the center is so polarizing. Everyone has their opinion about it. I used to be a member of the center a long time ago when I first moved here. It didn't grow with us. As my kids got older, they aged out of the childcare, but then I couldn't take them anywhere else in the center to be able to use the facilities. So I couldn't let them just sit there while I worked out, and I couldn't bring them into classes with me. So we kind of aged out of it for a while until they were old enough to be able to be members themselves. So there's this weird gap, this age gap that kind of was an issue for me. Another issue I always had was if I wanted to bring my kids to the pool, I didn't want to swim. I just wanted to sit there. I had to spend money on myself to go in there. That was an issue for me. But I mean, that's a personal thing. The center, I really feel like in order for it to become, for me to support a tax initiative or incentive for the center, I think that there would have to be something that would benefit our community in some way. I know that in the past, the center has served as a warming facility or cooling facility for people to go to in severe weather. To me, that's a big deal. I would support that. The pool, actually, I know there's a lot of people that really benefit from being able to use that pool for different physical therapy reasons. And it is nice to have a place to bring your kids, but I would need to see a compelling reason to support a tax initiative for the center to fully benefit our community, or to benefit the majority of people, or at least a large amount of people that would need it. We do have community members that do struggle in severe weather situations and do need a place to go. So if that was still an option, if they could still go there, if that would help support them, then I would support a tax initiative for that.
Yeah, I don't think there's many serious proposals on the table to do away with the building itself. Like, we're always going to have this, the city's always going to have this building. It's just, what do we do with it?
Yeah.
But suffice to say then that if the plan on the table was we increase taxes to keep the center and the natatorium operating in its current form, current amenities, current membership structure, that's not something you would be on board with?
I don't know. I'm very back and forth on that. I don't think I could give a true answer yet.
Yeah.
There are days I'm like, oh, that would be great. And then there are days I'm like, you know what? I just don't. I think I would just really I would need a little time to truly sit with it and see the specific wording of what that initiative would look like. Yeah. Because we can speculate, but until we actually see something in writing, we really wouldn't know. So I would have to see that.
Which we should be soon, actually. This I have the agenda for this coming Monday's City Council meeting pulled up. And one of the items on there is the engineering firm we hired is going to present some concept plans for the space. So we'll have much more to talk about after this week.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And I've been trying to stay as in the loop as I can about this, because I know at some point they are wanting to have public forums and let the public be involved in the planning of this. And I kind of had expected that to happen before the preliminary concepts. And I'm hoping that they happen soon, because I really would love to participate in that.
Yeah, I think that's necessary. I think any chance you can have a public forum where people can come in an organized way and be able to speak and have people listen. I think overall people want to be listened to.
Yeah.
They just want to be heard. So if you can give them a chance to be heard and at least consider what they have to say, I think that's important.
Absolutely. Say, folks, just tuning in, you're listening to the weather report here on KMNR. We're talking with Liz Sperry, who is running for Rolla City Council to represent Ward 5, which includes parts of downtown, the S&T campus itself, pretty much all of western and southwestern Rolla. So, good chance that you're in that, especially if you are a student. On that note, between the university's expansion, like the new arrival district and the rerouting of University Drive, the hospital's expansion, Ward 5 has seen probably the most dramatic changes of the whole city in at least the past 5 years. And so, you know, these I call them anchor institutions, things like the school and the hospital, that do bring a lot to the community. How can we, or the city, I suppose, what can we do to support the growth of these institutions while minimizing some of those kind of negative externalities that it has on the public?
I think, again, it comes down to listening to what our community members are saying. I feel like a lot of people feel unheard when things are, I think change instills fear. A lot of people get really worried about change that they don't understand. They get worried about, seeing things just expand and worry that, people or that progress is happening just for the sake of progress instead of actually understanding like why these things are happening. The hospitals expansions, everything they're doing, it's creating jobs, it's creating more opportunities for people to get better care, higher quality of care. I know Phelps Health has been working really hard at trying to bring better programs and more comprehensive programs to the hospital, which I think is fabulous. I know the university is always trying to bring new things to the community too, and there seems to always be this divide. But I don't think that needs to happen. I think there can always be a way to kind of align. And again, I feel like it comes down to communication, community forums, maybe, just having more opportunities for community members to just feel like they're heard and understand without feeling like they're being talked down to. I think sometimes people feel that way, even though that's not what's happening. It's just different forms of communication. I think just maybe giving them that opportunity might bridge that gap a little bit.
To some extent, it's the perception that decisions are being made kind of behind closed doors and not really, even if that's not necessarily the case, they're not publicized enough to have people be in the loop about this.
I think that is going to be a perception in all smaller communities. I think people are always going to feel that way. But I think just allowing people to have the opportunity to communicate how they feel in a more public way, I think that would really help a lot. I think that would help with those relationships.
We had a friend of the show, Daryl from Houston, texted and said there were targeted stakeholder meetings on the center in February. The big public meetings are forthcoming. Okay. I'm a member of the center. My phone didn't ring. I don't know why I'm not considered a stakeholder, but all right, fair enough. That's good to know, though. So stay tuned for public meetings regarding the center.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, and if you have any other fun comments like that you want me to read, text into 504-656-6735. That's 5046-KMNR-DJ. Let's move on now to the very fun question of homelessness.
Okay.
As always, Rolla is not unique in this, and it's not a problem that I expect any one candidate to have a comprehensive solution to. However, addressing homelessness can mean different things to different people. So what does it mean to you, and what are some concrete steps from the city that you would support to accomplish that?
So, the unhoused community is really near and dear to my heart. I really feel like, first and foremost, as I said at that open forum that was at the Lions Club, I feel like it's really about changing our perception of the people that are in that community and understanding that they are literally members of our community. They're our neighbors. They're our friends. They're people that are a part of our daily life, whether we realize it or not. I mean, a lot of people who are unhoused are working. They're working and they're trying to do what they need to do to get out of that situation. When I first moved to Missouri, I actually really struggled. It's not necessarily easy to leave a full-time military job, go to another state and try to start over. As a single parent, I really struggled. There were times where I slept in my car for a few weeks. I went to the gym, took my showers, went to work. Nobody knew. I just lived my life. And I mean, it was what it was. And luckily enough, I had a really great support system that was able to help me get on my feet. And man, I sure wish that for everybody. I feel like as a community, we should do what we can to be that support system. I feel like the mission is fabulous. They do as much as they're able to, but they are just one place. That was one church that said, "Hey, we have this space, let's open it." And then the mission was born. And they are constantly evolving and working to do as much as they can for our community, but we need to support that as well. I feel like getting our community leaders together and trying to come up with a solution or there's never going to be a solution. But to try to come up with a plan, right. And maybe more than one place could find a way to open their doors. I mean, I really feel like that is the only way we're going to start seeing see some improvements. I mean, the mission, if people are ever curious, they always tell people to come and check it out and learn. They're always happy to educate people about what they do and how they do it. They have an open house coming up. I mean, they're always willing to open their doors to teach. And I think talking to them, that might be a really good way to learn more about the problem. So yeah, I have the date and time on that.
Oh, awesome. I first link I clicked was from 2024. So, there it is. Great. Wow. So that's March 19th at 5:30 at the Mission, which is 708 North Main Street.
Yes.
So you're, I'd forgotten about that. You have a very cool backstory in general that I feel like every time I talk to you, I learn some wild new twist to it. But you've kind of now been on, it's not a sides thing, but you have been on both quote unquote sides of it where, you have been unhoused and you're a downtown business owner.
Yeah.
And so, it's you kind of have that interesting perspective of what it's like, and then now kind of in the shoes of some folks who have been making noise kind of in the other direction, I guess.
So I can honestly say our business, we are currently, we're across from the library. We used to be located right next to the library, right next to the children's library, but now we're across the library next to the Pine Center, in between the Pine Center and Kent Jewelers. So that's where our shop is now. But we never had major issues from the unhoused community. We did have people come in sometimes when they needed to warm up or cool down. They would just come in, have a quick conversation, bum a cigarette from my husband, get a cup of coffee now and again. And then we didn't open our bathrooms to the public because there was a lot of renovation happening in the building and stuff, and it was just an insurance issue to have people in the back. But we would send them over to the library. And, I know that they are very kind over there. And, I just felt like we just never really had a negative issue. And if we ever did have anyone that rubbed us the wrong way, they were still respectful enough. If Carl was like, okay, well, have a nice day. Yeah. We got to get back to work. And, I feel like showing people respect, you most of the time get it back in return. So, just, again, remembering they're our neighbors. They're just community members. So.
Are there, you talk about the city kind of getting involved with bringing these stakeholders together, sort of unifying the approach to addressing the unhoused problem. Are there any kind of policy levers that you would want the city to look into to kind of address some of the more systemic causes, things like housing or cost of living, things like that?
Oh, honestly, I've lived in a lot of places, and I don't really feel like the cost of living in Rolla is unattainable, personally. I know that really just depends on where you're looking to rent, or if you're looking to buy a house, or what communities you're looking at. I understand that varies. But I guess I look at my daughter as an example. She's a 20-year-old young woman working, she works her full-time job. She's got a couple roommates. They were able to find a house that was very affordable. And, it works out. Like they're not rolling in the dough. They're not going home every night rolling in $100 bills, but they're living a happy life, and things are sustainable, and they're not wanting for a whole lot. So, and I feel like if she can get out there and make that happen, then I think it's possible to live in our community without needing to worry too much about the cost of living. When it comes to like cost of groceries and stuff, that's a nationwide issue.
Yeah.
That's everywhere. Food is expensive no matter where you go. So, and I know the cost of things just goes up every year, and that's just something I think as a whole humanity needs to work on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right. Now in your Ward 5, you have a pretty a good portion of the student body living in your ward, or students make up a decent portion of your constituents. Between the downtown apartments, there's quite a few fraternities and some sororities. You have anything to say to these folks in particular? They don't engage in politics much, so any ideas you have that they might be especially interested in, or anything to persuade them to come out and vote?
I don't know if I have any ideas necessarily, but I definitely would encourage everyone, regardless of age or how long you're in this community, to understand that while you're here, you're a part of this community. And we definitely always want to hear from you. And if you have ideas, you should try it out. We have lots of different groups for people to get involved in. And I would love to see more college students coming to, whether it's a city council meeting or just getting involved in the community as a whole. We have a ton of stuff going on. There's a ton of stuff going on. We have festivals all the time. Summerfest will be coming up. There's always something fun to do and get involved in. I really would hope that our college community would get involved and go vote. In Ward 5, you vote at Eugene Northern. Just letting everyone know that's where you go. It's a walk. It's a short walk from campus over to Eugene Northern. Eugene Northern is located over by Kroger, where the fire department is, on the other side of that building. And it's a really easy walk to get to. It doesn't cost anything to vote. So if you're,
it's true.
If you're looking for something to do, a nice free activity, all you got to do is take a walk. It costs nothing. You get a cool sticker,
It's a nice third space you can hang out at, the polling place with your friends.
There you go. Take some pictures outside, do a little TikTok. There you go.
Yeah. I have the Eugene building is probably easier to walk to than to drive to, in my opinion.
Yes.
Like every time I go there, I wind up missing the turn to get there.
Parking's weird. Parking's weird over there. Yeah.
I have many complaints about the polling places in Rolla, but those are things no one cares about but me. Oh, man. Well, hey, keep texting in, folks, because as I said, we're talking with Liz Sperry, candidate for City Council in Ward 5 here in Rolla. Text into 504-656-6735. That's 5046-KMNR-DJ. We're going to take a quick break to play a little bit of Science and the Sea, and then we'll be right back to continue talking with the candidates. So don't you dare go anywhere.
Exploring Science and the Sea. Second place doesn't get a lot of attention. The second tallest mountain, the second expedition to reach the North Pole, silver medalists in the Olympics. The second deepest spot in the oceans isn't exactly a household name either, the Tonga Trench. The deepest spot is in the Mariana Trench, in the western Pacific Ocean. It's about 36,000 feet deep, almost 7 miles. That's a few hundred feet deeper than the lowest spot in the Tonga Trench. The Tonga is in the southern hemisphere, northeast of New Zealand. It's more than 800 miles long and runs parallel to the islands of Tonga. Its deepest spot is the Horizon Deep. It's named for the ship that discovered it back in 1952. The trench is created by the motions of two of the plates that make up Earth's crust. One plate is plunging below the other. The Tonga Trench is a groove where the descending plate disappears below the other. And the crust along one section of the trench is disappearing faster than at any other spot on Earth, about 9 inches per year. A couple of expeditions have taken a close look at the trench. They found an abundance of life along its steep walls and all the way to the bottom. One thing they didn't find was evidence of humans. Explorations of the world's other major trenches have all found trash, even in the deepest parts. But the Tonga Trench is pristine, a top ranking for the second deepest spot in the oceans. Science in the Sea is a production of the University of Texas Marine Science Institute at Port Aransas and is available as a weekly podcast at scienceandthesea.org. I'm Holly Brawley.
Thanks, Holly. We're here at the Weather Report here at KMNR 89.7 FM. Hope you didn't go anywhere. We'll do the weather report real quick here on the Weather Report. So, today, Friday the 13th. I didn't even register. I've had multiple people tell me it's Friday the 13th, but it didn't actually kick in till now. You can participate in the weather if you'd like, Liz.
I told you it was Friday the 13th.
You did, yes. Yeah, I've seen it a lot. Just has not kicked in till right now. Happy Friday. It's windy today. That's the most annoying thing. This weekend should be pretty nice. Well, Saturday at least should be about 69 degrees, low of 56. Partly cloudy, still quite windy. Sunday might see some thunderstorms in the afternoon, but that's okay. Sunday is a day of rest. Monday it'll get quite a lot colder, high of 29, wind 20 miles per hour out of the upper left. Tuesday, high of 43, partly cloudy. Wednesday, getting back up into the mid-60s, still partly cloudy. And then we should finally get through this, whatever it is, on Thursday. Thursday and Friday will be in mid-70s, mostly sunny. Heading down to the next weekend, where it'll be in the 80s. Isn't that fun? Perfect weather for maybe it finally being springtime. That's the weather here on the Weather Report. Now let's get back to the interesting stuff. Talking to Liz Sperry, candidate for Rolla City Council in Ward 5. Running low on questions. Let's do some fun ones, just for fun. So, Rolla has a lot of festivals and holidays and special events, PATS and Summerfest and whatnot. What is your favorite and why?
Okay, that's easy. My favorite is Lichternacht and the Christkindlmarkt. I love the holiday season. I love Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, that whole portion of the calendar. When they started to do Lichternacht, I was so excited. I actually got to help a little bit that first year. That was a lot of fun to serve on that committee. The first tree that they had when they started doing it, when Jeff Sandquist is the one who runs that, who started that whole little thing. That first year, I actually donated the Christmas tree. I bought it from the Optimist Tree Lot. It was like a huge tree. It was massive. I wasn't in town when we when it was purchased, like when they picked it up, but they sent me a picture of it on the truck. It was huge. And now they use a fake tree, which, is beautiful. And, I'm not upset about it, but I do love those real Christmas trees. But that's definitely my favorite.
Nice. We have a question texted in. Great. Friend of the show, Daryl from Orlando, says, as a downtown business owner, what do you feel works well in the area, and what do you feel the city could do to help generate business there?
So honestly, I love our downtown. We have a really beautiful downtown, especially Pine Street. It's a lot of fun. I really feel like the businesses really coordinate well together for different promotions, different things. Like when there are festivals, a lot of the businesses participate. We do have a lot of festivals. They'll close Pine Street down for the Arts and Crafts Fest, for the they do the Boo Palooza for Halloween. The kids love that. I just love how inviting the downtown is to everyone. They're just like, come down here, check this out. What can we do? Tell us how we can do it better. Everyone's really open to feedback. There are always ideas. There's always ways to make it better. I think for me, one thing I would like to see improve a little bit downtown are sidewalks. We have a lot of people that really need more accessible ways to walk up and down the street. And there are lots of little bumps because it's an older sidewalk and it's really pretty, but I've tripped before. But I think that our community does a really good job of bringing people in downtown. Like I said, we do a lot of different festivals and stuff. I really feel like the one thing that I think we struggle with, and I'm not exactly sure what the answer is getting the word out about a lot of things. I work in a very thriving business, and I'll go to work and I'm like, are you guys going to the festival this weekend for blah, 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 blah? And they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What is that? And then I'll pull it up on Facebook and I'll give it to them. And Facebook's great. Social media is great, but I'm not exactly sure what the answer is for that. But we do have a lot of advertising out there for our festivals, but and all of our different events. We have a lot of events in Rolla. We do a lot of stuff. Every month there's stuff. If you go on the Chamber of Commerce calendar, there's stuff lined up. Like they keep it busy here.
From the perspective of as a student, I feel like that is a big lack or a big missed opportunity, is that a lot of that stuff really is not making its way into the student sphere. Because downtown stuff especially, that's walking distance from all the dorms. That is a lot of cool stuff that people would probably want to go to, but there's just no real mechanisms in place to get that information dispersed out to the students.
I know, so maybe like some form of liaison or something to talk to the university to let you guys know, like if there was a way, kind of like I used to do the Mid-Missouri Arts Calendar on another station, maybe having someone come in once a week here and just announcing all of the fun stuff going on. Maybe that would be a solution. I'm not sure.
We do have Town and Campus News, which is great, but then people have to know that Town and Campus News exists in order to submit things to it. But yeah, definitely. Or like the Parks Department does a lot of really cool activities. Like they've had archery classes or like wilderness survival, classes and stuff. And it's like, that would be awesome. That would be really cool for students to get to participate in. But there's just no avenue to get that information out there.
Yeah, not unless you're going on their website or on their social media. You're not really gonna see. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff going on. I can tell you the Parks Department has done a really great job of putting the word out the best that they can. They also have there are a lot of parks here in Rolla. When my kids were younger, we did this thing. It was just us. I mean, it was just something we did as a family, but we did a Rolla Parks tour. And we woke up early one Saturday morning and we went to every single park in Rolla. There's a lot of parks here for the kids. So, it was a lot of fun. We took pictures at every park and just the kids had to play on every piece of equipment just for fun. Man, they were tired when we got home. So
which park is the best then?
Oh, man. I don't know. They loved them all. They absolutely just loved going to parks as kids. That was like their favorite thing. You got to swing, they'll be on it.
We're pro park here on the Weather Report. So,
yes.
Great. Kind of on that subject of downtown. I mean, downtown's always been the area of the city aspiring to improve it or renew it or however you want to call it. And it's an area of a lot of focus in the city's comprehensive plan, the Rolla 2050 plan for the city's development for the next few decades. And if elected, you're going to be, the draft is, mostly done now of this plan. And if elected, you'll be the council that gets the ball rolling on a lot of those big long-term projects. So is there anything that, as you've learned more about the plan, that stood out to you as like, oh, this is a great idea, or the opposite, things that you think we shouldn't really be focusing on?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, anything that has to do with the downtown business area, I'm always interested in hearing about and learning about. Of course, nothing, even if you've got all those plans written out, nothing's ever set in stone because situations change, businesses move. Something you may be trying to get approved doesn't get approved. There's always things that make you have to kind of reassess and change things. I think and I've talked to a lot of business owners downtown. I think the number one thing that I've gotten feedback on is our parking. Man, I'm going to tell you from I can tell you my personal story. I used to get parking tickets all the time. It was, man, I was like, at one point, I was like, I wish I could just pay for a parking pass. I would just pay a yearly pass and then just let me park where I need to park. But then I thought about it more. And to me, it really is frustrating. It's not just frustrating as a business owner, but we do have all these things that happen downtown. So like we do have all the downtown shopping stuff that we do for Christmas. So say someone comes downtown and they're like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to go to Red Door. I'm going to buy this stuff. Well, I'm going to go next door. I'm going to go to the coffee shop. Oh, now I'm going to go to this new bookstore. Oh man, this bookstore is great. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to have a little snack. And then they go to a few more shops. Then they're like, you know what? I want to go eat dinner at Hopper's. Then they get back to their car and there's a big fat ticket. Man, that's frustrating. That doesn't exactly make people want to come back. To me, that's an issue. I don't know what the solution is. I do wish it was a discussion. I mean, I almost would rather have people have to pay meters so they know to come back, or something. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's expensive. So I'm not sure exactly what the solution is, but I can tell you that is a big frustration as a business owner who's had people give her feedback, talk to other businesses who have had the same feedback given to them. Those parking tickets, those are rough. And
I think the kind of structure of downtown kind of feeds into that, especially when, there are things like parades or street markets or stuff where now all of Pine Street is inaccessible. And if you want to try and get across it, good luck. Because there are some, public lots around there, but it's really, there's no good signage or just, the directions of the roads and stuff. There's nothing to really direct people into those areas.
Yeah. I know that there are some times where people will be told like park at the high school and walk in, but that may not be an option for some people. Like if you struggle with mobility, you're not going to be able to walk from the high school. So, I don't know, maybe finding ways to get to have someone volunteer to do shuttling or something might be an option. So
yeah, like I'm the urbanist in me is always like, I don't want to just build more lots and sprawl out more. But, we have the school built its parking garage finally, and it was, a lot very underwhelming compared to what we were sort of hoping for. But having used it a lot, I say I'm on board with it. I think it has worked out. I am now a fan of the parking garage. And, they're eyeing some pretty dramatic changes to downtown, and so that could be something that they prioritize. Have you looked at the town square proposals?
Not a lot. Very briefly, not comprehensively. There's a lot of information.
Yeah.
And, I try to take things bit by bit.
No, you're fine. Yeah.
I can tell you the Rolla community visions, like that statement is very lofty. Like that's a lot to aspire to. It's very idealistic, which I love, but I have it written down because I wanted to read it because it's very big. And I'm excited that we have a goal to reach, but it's very big. It says, Rolla will strive to be the premier regional and cultural hub of South Central Missouri, providing a safe, resilient, beautiful, and family-oriented community for residents and students with a high quality of life and the economic opportunity to thrive. That's a big sentence.
Yeah.
That's a lot to aspire to. I'm excited to have big goals, but that's a lot. Like, just... to hear it, it's almost overwhelming. It's like,
right.
We're gonna do what?
And there's so many aspects of it that it's like, what does that actually mean in practice? Because, one thing the city wants to lean into is leveraging the university to get a lot more kind of tech and research and development type of investment in Rolla.
Yes.
And that's all great, but then you've got a lot of folks who are like, okay, cool. You've got now these expensive companies moving in and this expensive housing being built. Where does that leave me? I don't have, the education or skills to work there. It's just going to raise prices for me.
Exactly. It's that whole synergistic point of view. Like one thing affects the other. It's a big ripple effect. And we have to really pay attention to what we're doing and when we do it and make sure that we're including people in that discussion. Yeah,
which the vision statement helps with that because it lets you kind of, for any issue, you can look at, is this going to get us closer to this goal? But then it's broad enough that you can kind of argue that anything the city does is going to be getting you towards that goal.
That's true.
Wow, this second half flew by. Free-form discussions. Well, cool. Well, folks, you're almost out of time to text in to ask our city council candidate some questions. We're talking to Liz Sperry, who's running in Ward 5. Please text into 504-656-6735. As we're wrapping up here, I guess just some information. So election day is April 7th. And we were talking about the Ward 5 votes at the Eugene Northern Community Building, which is near the courthouse. It's kind of frustrating if you put it into at least Apple Maps, it doesn't recognize it. You have to actually put in the address.
Yes.
Which I'll find real quick.
Yeah, it's an interesting building. Like I said, it's it shares space with the fire department over there.
It's at 400 West 4th Street. So there you go.
Yeah, the parking is angled, so you have to come from the correct direction to park. Otherwise, just go around the block.
So as we're wrapping up here, do you have any other last comments? Anything that you want the folks at home to know about you? Are there any priorities or issues that we didn't cover that you want people to know about?
I don't know that there's anything very specific that I am considering. Like I said, I don't have any future legislation planned or anything like that. I'm more of a responsive person. I definitely am excited to get to know more people. I'm excited to have the opportunity. I feel like having run a couple times before, I'm definitely ready to get in there. I will apologize in the future for my facial expressions. My face tends to make a lot of expressions, so you guys will definitely be entertained when you watch the live streams. So Don't be too thrown off by that. Just
That's good.
have
It
a little
tells you-
chuckle.
It shows the public what you're thinking without taking up more meeting time for yapping.
I know when I went to that, like I've been to so many meetings and I look and they all have such steely faces and I'm like, oh no, I don't know that I can do that. But
I think half the time they're just bored.
well,
If their experience is anything like mine at city council meetings, a lot of time it's just
there's
waiting.
nothing wrong with a boring city council meeting.
That is
There's
exactly true.
Nothing
Yes.
wrong with that.
That has been the most refreshing thing about the council this past year is it has been boring and productive.
That's how it should be.
Kind of on that note, there is a city council meeting this coming Monday. It's at 6:30 p.m. March 16th at City Hall, which is 901 North Elm Street. This is open to the public. The public can come and definitely ought to if they want to know more about what's going on. There'll be some exciting updates, including info about the new animal shelter that is being built. This should be getting completed soon. And those concept plans for the center that we were talking about. They're having oh my gosh, my chair just fell. We're having final votes on, presumably final votes on the ordinance that would ban the sale of 7-0 and put age restrictions on Kratom Delta 8 and Delta 9 products, as well as some sewer and construction type repairs. They're going to be making some amendments to our city budget. And that's about all the interesting stuff. It should be a pretty short meeting, thankfully. But yeah, you're welcome to attend that as a member of the public, as a student, see what's going on. Liz, is there anything, if people are interested in learning more about you and your campaign, where can they find it?
So I do have a Facebook page. It's Liz Sperry for Ward 5. I also just created a fresh email for my campaign because I was struggling to get into my last one. So it's Elizabeth Sperry Ward 5 at gmail.com. So if anyone has any questions, they can definitely send it to me there. I posted that on my Facebook page as well.
That's SPERRY.
Correct, like the shoes.
Great. Well, that takes us to about the end, unless there's anything else for the good of the cause. Thank you, Liz Sperry, for coming on and talking about your campaign for City Council. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in and catching this interview. A little bit of admin. These interviews are recorded and uploaded to YouTube. I have a new YouTube channel, The Weather Report, KMNR 89.7 FM. And you can find my old interviews on there. We've talked to city council candidates Amelia Markwell and Melissa Gans, as well as mayoral candidate Lister Florence. And this interview will be uploaded once I get around to doing that in the next few days. Tune in next week, same time, same place, 4 p.m. on Friday for the last interview of our cycle with mayoral candidate Kevin Graven. We had his opponent on last week. It was a very fun interview. I had a great time. Now you'll want to get the other side of the story and see what Kevin has to say, as we have an exciting contested mayoral race. So I do hope you'll catch that. Once again, Election Day is April 7th. Mark your calendars and have a fun, safe St. Pat's. I appreciate you taking the time from your revelry to learn about exciting local politics. And I hope you'll be recovered enough next Friday to hear some more. So with that, I believe it's time we sign off. This has been MC Stratus here on The Weather Report with Liz Sperry on KMNR 89.7 FM, broadcasting out of Rolla. Hope you all have a fun, safe weekend, and top of the evening to you.